guys, what's up? Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Naturally Sade. In today's video, I'm basically going to be going through all the books that I read in 2019. So here's the little tricky thing. When I say read, I mean listened to. Although I do love to physically read books, I consider myself a lover of all things books and a bookworm. I love reading. It's one of my favorite hobbies, but being a mother and a wife, and I have a job as well, I don't have time to physically sit down and read a book. I have to listen to books while I'm on the go, whether I'm driving, whether I'm cooking, whether I'm cleaning, whether I'm getting ready, whether I'm getting my kids ready. I'm listening to books because I got things to do. Whether I'm working out too, if I go out for a run or a jog or a hike, I'm gonna be listening to a book. And this is a total side note, not sponsored or anything like that, but I heard about this app called Libby. I have not stopped using it ever since I heard about it. It is my favorite app ever. And it's basically like a public library app. I believe if you have a library membership or whatever, anywhere in the nation, I don't know if it's just US, it connects to your public library and you're allowed to check out books that way. Regular digital books that you can physically read or free audiobooks. And that's what I've been doing. And honestly, that's how I got through all the books that I'm gonna let you know that I read in 2019. I highly, highly, highly recommend it if you love books or you want to get into books. This is a great free way to do that. I've recommended it to all my family and friends that love to read. I love it so much. Enough of that. Let's go ahead and get into the list of books that I read this past year. The first book that I read was The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren, and that one did take a little bit longer, and I actually started that one out reading it physically and then transitioned to listening to it towards the end of the book. It's a 42 chapter book that you only read one chapter a day. I feel like it helped me be mindful of not only my relationship with God, but my relationship with others and the way that I treat people and think about things. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it. And even now to this day, I'm still trying to incorporate the concepts and perception and actions into my life. After that, I started reading two book series at the same time, or listening to two different book series at the same time. The first one was Harry Potter, all 7 books. I finally started because I really, really, really had been wanting to read those. And I love them so much. I ended up, like, as I was reading the books, I would watch the movies. And of course, you know, no surprise, the movies were somewhat of a disappointment in comparison to the books, especially that there's so much left out. And whole stories in the books left out from the movies that I was just so like, why? Nonetheless, I enjoyed that book series so much. Harry Potter. The next series that I was reading in between, like I would read a book of Harry Potter, then this one, then Harry Potter, then this one, and just kind of like, I was on a roll. I read the Sookie Stackhouse novels by Charlene Harris. And it's a total of 13 books. And you may be familiar with the HBO TV series called True Blood, which is based off of that Sookie Stackhouse series. I had actually read these a long time ago, before the series even came out on HBO, but I never finished them because the books continued after even the series, and I just kind of lost track. So I decided to read them all over again because it had been a long while since I had read them and I forgot like some of the storyline and stuff. So I started with those again and really loved them. If you're not familiar with that series, on TV or the books. It's just about a girl who is a telepath. There is a time that vampires are coming out of the coffin and living amongst everyone publicly, and it's basically her adventures with the vampires and more supernatural people, creatures, whatever you want to call it. Her experiences figuring out who she is amongst this group of people and her adventures through this new world. It's just, you know, fiction, of course, and very interesting, and I enjoyed that series. Next book that I read, listened to, was The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. And it's just literally about organizing your home and essentially your life, you know, the result that comes with the life-changing magic of tidying up, you know, as the title suggests. It did make me want to like organize after reading it, but there are some little concepts like saying thank you to things that you no longer need and are, you know, getting rid of. Are you sparking joy in my life? Because if you're not, you gotta go. Not sure that I got a whole lot out of it, but like I said, it did inspire me to organize and clean, which is still a work in progress. The next book I read was also another fiction book, and it was called The Wife Between Us, and that was by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. This book is a thriller about an ex-wife who seems like she's obsessing over her ex-husband and his new soon-to-be wife. So the story unravels and there's so many twists and turns. At first, it kind of started off a little bit slow, but I feel like chapter 3 or 4 was when I was like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? If you're into thrillers and mystery kind of, psychological thrillers, then I recommend this book. The next book I ended up reading after that is called The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. Whew, okay, so many things to say about this book. It totally had, like, I don't even know how to communicate my feelings. That book went totally left field. Like, I was not expecting the twists and turns that ended up happening. It's about this recluse woman who's kind of a drunkard, lives at home, never leaves her home because it's really hard for her to be outside around other people. She likes to people watch from her window, aka spy on her neighbors, and she ends up seeing something that she shouldn't have seen. You kind of are left wondering, like, did she really see this or not? Because she's kind of a drunkard. Does she have issues? You know, she's a recluse. She's scared to be outside. Like, what's wrong with this lady? As the story unravels, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. The ending is so unexpected. A really good, exciting, keep you on the edge of your seat type of psychological thriller once again. You see the pattern here? The next book that I read was called Something in the Water, and that book is by Catherine Steadman. So this book is about a couple on their honeymoon, and they discover something incredible, you could say, that really changes their lives forever. That one, again, it did start off a little bit slow, and I was kind of like, okay, when are we gonna get to the juicy stuff? Like, but it was good. It was good. I was happy with it. It was an interesting little twist in the end as well. Overall, a good book, a good read. The next book that I read is called The Good Daughter, and it's by Karen Slaughter. This one is also a psychological thriller. I'm starting to, as I'm, talking about these books, I'm like, okay, clearly I'm into psychological thrillers. I don't know what that says about me, but it is what it is. I accept myself for who I am. This book is about these two sisters who experience a crime when they're young, and kind of the aftermath 28 years later with the town that they experienced that crime in and their family dynamic. Just, that's, you know, the base of the story. Another crime occurs that kind of ties into that story of when they were younger. That one I really enjoyed. It tugged at my heartstrings too, you know, made me sad on some parts, and it just makes you think, you know, like about the people that are around you. That one I actually really enjoyed more than I thought I would. It was good. I have 2 more books on my list, and they're not psychological thrillers. The next one that I read was The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. The Year of Yes is basically about Shonda Rhimes' journey into becoming the woman that she is now. I felt like it was a year of growth. She decided to stop being scared of living life, and she started saying yes to the things that scared her. And, you know, she basically breaks down all those things, like what triggered that and how she got through her fears and worked through them, and how it changed her life for the better. She is happier from taking all these steps and facing her fears and saying yes to the things that scared her before. So I thought it was a very inspiring and motivating book, and almost made me want to say yes to everything, but I just don't feel like I'm on that level of scared. But I still found it very inspiring and motivational. So that was a really great book if you're somebody who's looking for a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of motivation, and even perspective on life, because sometimes you can be stuck like in your mindset, and somebody can say something to you that just like clicks in your mind, and you're just like, wow, I never thought of it that way. So definitely one of those books that gets your mind going and moving and thinking a little bit differently. The final book I read in 2019, finally we're here, is Girl, Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. Probably one of my favorite books this year. So motivational. I really enjoyed reading that book, and I want to read it again and again. Each chapter is like a lie that she believed, and how she realized that that was not her truth, and how she got past it, and things that help her even now to this day. So there was a lot of things in there that I could relate, because she's a mother, I'm a mother. She's a wife, I'm a wife. She works, you know, I work. Like these are things that so many women can relate to. To me, it was so motivational, and it like woke up some things in my mind too. I can conquer more than what I have been telling myself. Getting out of that haze in your mind, that mental haze, because honestly, like mind over matter is really like a thing. And, you know, surrounding yourself with positivity in your mind for yourself, and the way that you do things, being your own cheerleader in a sense. I would highly recommend it to anybody, but especially if you're a woman. That concludes my list for 2019. I know that this is not my typical what I do on my channel, but I'm trying to change it up a little bit. I still am gonna do hair stuff, but you know, I do love lifestyle stuff, and I do want to share more of myself with you guys and just kind of expand on what my channel is about. I really hope that you enjoyed this, especially if you're a bookworm like me. And if you did, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. And while you're there, you might as well hit that subscribe button down below if you want to see more from me. And of course, as always, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.